Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. First things first, if you're watching this video, go ahead and drop a like, drop a sub, and you can drop a comment as the video continues. So today I'm actually going to be, we are going to be revisiting the 2018 Mr. Olympia. Now, I have seen a guy on Instagram by the name of Tominator make a couple videos like this, revisiting a couple of Mr. Olympias from the 90s. So I just had to shout him out. This theme kind of came as an idea from that. And also, I've been wanting to get Shawn Rhoden up on the channel. And I've only been in the sport for bodybuilding of about probably 14, 16 months, maybe a year and a half at this point. So I actually wasn't in the sport when this Mr. Olympia happened. And a lot of these placings and the way these guys look back then, I don't know too much of it because I wasn't there. So taking a look back at this Mr. Olympia is honestly kind of giving me more history, and I will be going forward with this series if you guys do enjoy this video. So I'll basically be going through a top 4 comparison just like I would for any show. I have every pose here, and at the end I'll be going through the top 6. I wanted to do a first call out, but instead I'm just gonna do a top 4. So Brandon Curry placed 5th in his lineup, and Big Ramy also placed 6th. I'll break them down at the end, but for the start of the video, we'll actually just be taking a look at the top 4 comparison between Shawn Rhoden, Phil Heath, William Bonac, and Roly Winkler. So let's get into it. So actually, when I take a look at this front double bicep pose, my eyes honestly go to Roly Winkler first. Roly is very huge, but something you guys will see in this video, everyone talks about how we want the old Roly back. But honestly, Roly has never brought amazing conditioning to the stage as far as I've seen. He just had so much of a freak factor, it was undeniable. But secondly, my eyes will go to Shawn Rhoden. Shawn Rhoden is peeled, of course. Best midsection up here, but he just doesn't seem to have like the same size and the freak factor is like a Roly Winkler. Phil Heath, good on everything, man. Just of course the midsection is protruding, and William Bonac, pretty good, pretty good. This is one of my favorite versions of William Bonac in all honesty, but here you can kind of see William was bigger, but it does look like he was already starting to kind of blow out his frame a little bit. And taking a look at the front lat spread, once again, Roly Winkler. Honestly, my eyes go to Roly Winkler, then William Bonac. Phil Heath, the midsection is just too noticeable, man. Honestly, besides that, he has everything. His pecs look crazy this year. Roly Winkler actually looks pretty good. Roly is insane, man. Look how huge he is. This is just insane. If Roly was able to bring the conditioning, man, he probably would be a Mr. Olympia. And of course, William, being a shorter guy, and because of his structure, he's not the best in this pose, but this is a pretty good William Bonac, as I've said before. And taking a look at the side chest, I honestly love Shawn Rhoden's side chest, man. A lot of people may not because he doesn't hit it like a lot of the other guys, but I like the way that he hits it. Phil Heath chest is just huge. Roly Winkler, huge. William Bonac, huge, man. In this pose, it's kind of going to be more of a preference. I'll probably go with Phil Heath. Even though I like Shawn Rhoden's presentation, Phil is just too freaking overpowering in this pose. And I mean, this pose is the side chest. I like Shawn Rhoden's overall flow in the side chest, however, though. And on to the side tricep. Roly is getting kind of screwed in this pose. This is a very bad angle for him. Honestly, I think Shawn Rhoden probably should have hit this pose conventional. The way he's hitting it, I kind of like his flow, but I don't think it really fits his physique. Honestly, Phil and Bonac are the top 2 in this pose for me. And I mean, Phil's arm is honestly just ridiculous. I want to go with William Bonac in this pose, honestly, because his midsection looks a little better, but I'm probably going to go with Phil Heath just because of the overwhelming size of his tricep. And on to the back shots. Phil Heath. Feel the gift Heath. It's not even a discussion, guys. Shawn Rhoden is right there, though. He just doesn't have the best lower lat insertions, but Shawn seems to be in the best condition on this stage. And take a look at Roly, guys. This is not a knock on Roly. His glutes do look pretty tight, but Roly never was just crazy peeled. The conditioning that he's bringing now isn't too far off from this, in my opinion. He was never crazy peeled to me. And William Bonac is consistent, but he just doesn't have the width to stand with some of these guys. Rear lat spread, Phil the gift Heath. It's not even close, man. Phil from the back, probably Phil is the greatest bodybuilder of all time, in my opinion. I know you Ronnie Coleman fans are gonna kill me in the comment section below, but me personally, I think 2011 Phil was the best bodybuilder of all time. Ronnie was big and freaky, but I'm not gonna get into that, guys. This is a whole nother discussion. That's a whole nother discussion. But Shawn Rhoden, he was peeled. Look at his glutes, man. And we're actually gonna go on to the abs and thigh next, and it's not even a competition. Shawn Rhoden looks like he was cut out of a magazine and photoshopped it to this photo. Like, Shawn Rhoden is in a completely different league, man. One of the best abs and thighs of all time, maybe the best of all time, up there with Shawn Ray for sure. Rolly Winkler, he's not all the way into the pose. I know that this year he actually had a pretty good ab and thigh. And I'm assuming William never really just hit his ab and thigh straight on because he has kind of a blockier midsection. So Shawn Rhoden in the ab and thigh by far. And finishing up here with the most muscular pose. Is there any way that this pose doesn't go to Rolly Winkler? Honestly, my eyes are drawn to William Bonac. I really like him in this pose. Shawn Rhoden, it looks like he's not snapping it, or the photographer didn't snap it at the right time. His delts doesn't, his upper body doesn't look fully into this pose. I know his delts would pop more if they were rolled ahead. And Phil Heath, even here in the crab, you can kind of see the midsection protruding. Rolly is the biggest, but maybe not the best condition, so they'll probably go a Rolly Winkler in this shot. Me personally, I would have it between Rolly and William Bonac, but with Phil Heath being Phil Heath, let's just be honest, he might be able to win this pose. But that was all I was going to do for this video as far as the top 4 comparison goes, guys. Just kind of giving my opinions on these guys and these poses. And I'm going to actually give you guys the top 6 from this show in order. So placing in 6th place at the 2018 Mr. Olympia was actually Big Ramy Mamdoua Elsbaye. And Big Ramy actually seems to be in pretty good condition this year. I'm going to be honest and call it for what it is, though. His tan and color is horrible, which probably threw him off. I'm pretty sure back these couple of years ago when Ramy was competing, I believe he was competing of upwards of 300 plus pounds. You can kind of see it in his midsection. But other than that, this is a pretty good version of Big Ramy. And of course, he figured out the formula, and he's our 2-time Mr. Olympia today. And placing in 5th place was Brandon Curry. Now, I want you guys to let me know if you guys have been a fan of bodybuilding. Was Brandon Curry a guy that was on, was he on trajectory to win the Mr. Olympia? When Brandon was competing, was he a guy that people was like, he's going to win the Mr. Olympia someday? Because like I told you guys, I haven't been in a sport when a lot of this stuff was going on. And I don't think a lot of people talked about Brandon Curry. But I'm just curious about that because I would have loved to see any athlete come from placing lower at the Mr. Olympia and then working their way up to being Mr. Olympia. So I just want to know, did you guys see Brandon Curry becoming a Mr. Olympia if you guys have been a fan of the sport? But Brandon placed 5th at this contest, and amazing physique that he's only improved on each year. Placing 4th at the 2018 Mr. Olympia was actually William Bonac. And this is an amazing version of William Bonac, man. And I'm excited to keep doing this series and going back to see a lot more of these other bodybuilders as well as other versions of William Bonac. If this version of William Bonac was on that stage today, man, I would say he can win the Mr. Olympia in all honesty. You guys know that the following year, William ended up, I'm not sure if he won I don't think he won the honor in 2019. I think it was 2020. But you guys know he went on to win 2 Arnold Classics, and he placed 2nd at the 2019 Mr. Olympia. Amazing physique, man. This is incredible. I do believe Bonac is past his prime. I'm not saying he's on the way out. He's still a top 6 guy, but I don't think we're going to get to see this version of him again. And in 3rd place, the beast, Rolly Winkler. And I know you guys may feel like I've been talking about him a lot for his conditioning, but it's just because, honestly, even here, Rolly has the potential. Look at this front relaxed pose. You guys can't tell me this isn't the greatest front relaxed of all time, man. This picture in the middle is just downright freaky and scary, man. Rolly is one of the most genetically gifted bodybuilders of all time. Some of the best arms of all time. Arguably, maybe does have the best arms of all time. I'm pretty sure he's up there with Phil Heath, man. But this is an incredible package. And I heard that back then people was arguing that Rolly Winkler should have placed ahead of Phil Heath this year. But Rolly just didn't have the conditioning, man. Look at this front relaxed pose. Imagine this guy peeled to the bone. Mr. Olympia. Placing in 2nd place at the 2018 Mr. Olympia was Phil the Gift Heath. This was Phil's first loss after winning 7 straight Sandals and tying Arnold Schwarzenegger's record. And of course, he was trying to tie the great Ronnie Coleman as well as Lee Haney and win 8. A lot of people arguably said Phil should have won even with the midsection trouble. And honestly, Phil probably would have won if the guy next to him didn't have some of the best abs of all time. But look at this physique, man. This is one of the greatest, and in my opinion, the greatest bodybuilder of all time. Just amazing. And winning this show and becoming number 14, may he rest in peace, Shawn Rhoden. Incredible physique, man. Shawn never gave up. I've already started looking back at some of the older Mr. Olympias, and I know that Shawn placed runner-up. Shawn placed fifth at the Mr. Olympia. Shawn was in the top 6 for a while, and it's just crazy to me because I wasn't in a sport at the time. I kind of thought Shawn just appeared out of nowhere, but he's a very hard worker, man. He actually stopped bodybuilding for a while and ended up getting back into it after his father's death. I don't want to get too much into that, but you guys can go over to Mike O'Hearn's channel, and he actually has an interview with Shawn Rhoden, so that's very important. And a huge part of me for doing this 2018 recap video was because I did want to do a video of Shawn Rhoden here up on the channel. But Shawn Rhoden said numerous times, mark my words, I will be number 14. And it's crazy because Shawn did end up being 14. So winning the 2018 Mr. Olympia and becoming the 14th Mr. Olympia of our sport. And to this day, only 16 guys have had the privilege to call themselves Mr. Olympia and hold their Sandow trophy. I mean, if you guys want to get specific, the Sandow wasn't given out from the beginning, but you get the picture, man. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you guys want to see this series continue, or you have any other specific competitions you would like me to revisit, put them in the comment section below. If you made it this far, put GG in the comment section. I'm out.